With the current cost of living crisis, Kodak's price increases, and the overall state of the world right now, many film photographers are looking for a way to get those warm tones and nostalgic vibes without having to pay for film. As a broke uni student, I have found the perfect solution: Fujifilm. Yes, I know everyone has spoken about Fujifilm, and I probably won't say anything new, but I just wanted to give my perspective as someone who primarily shoots film, and mainly medium format film. I do shoot a bit of 35mm here and there, and I was looking for a way to, not pay the price of a kidney for one roll of film. And that is why at the start of my second year of university, after working my ass off over summer and using a bit of my maintenance loan, I managed to buy a camera that I've been interested in for a while. And that camera is the Fujifilm X-Pro 3. This is a very unique camera, as it is a hybrid optical viewfinder and electronic viewfinder camera, as well as it has no screen on the back. Well, it does have a screen, you just have to flip it out, and it has a little mini screen on the back to show your film simulations and your current settings. Anyway, I pretty much bought this camera as an investment to replace my 35mm photography for the most part. I still do shoot 35mm photography here and there, but primarily I shoot this X-Pro 3. I used to do a lot of street photography with my Canon Model 7, and I wanted something similar to that since I love the way rangefinders feel, and that's exactly what the X-Pro 3 was. I have already done a video about the X-Pro 3, so if you want to look at the pros and cons of that, then I recommend watching that video. This video, however, is to discuss if the X-Pro 3 or just Fujifilm in general can actually replace film. While the Fujifilm X-Pro 3 is an amazing camera, it can't replace film entirely for me. This is because I love shooting medium format film, and digital just can't replicate that, apart from a video that I did see by Kyle McDougall about a lens called the Mythicon 65mm 1.4, and I really want that lens, and I really want a GFX camera, but right now I do not have the money, and I just lost my job, so looks like I'm not going to have the money anytime soon. However, the X-Pro 3 has pretty much entirely replaced my 35mm shooting. I do still shoot 35mm film here and there, since I did bulk buy a bunch of it, since I have a project that I'm doing called Cats on Film, and it's a lot easier to take photos of cats on 35mm film with an autofocus camera or just a quick focusing film camera than my Pentax 6.7. But that being said, whenever I shoot 35mm film and whenever I shoot the X-Pro 3, the difference is crazy. Even at very good settings and using extremely good film processors at my university, it still just doesn't match the quality of a crop sensor Fujifilm camera. That sounds ridiculous, but there's just something about it. And I don't know what it is, because for instance I'd used my Canon 80D, and while the quality on that was amazing, it just felt a bit weird and I'd prefer to shoot 35mm. But with the X-Pro 3, I prefer to shoot it 100%. Sadly, I haven't been using it that much for the past few months because I've primarily been using my Pentax 6.7 since it has now become my favourite film camera ever. But I will begin to use it again soon, as it has just been sat there on my desk looking very nice and making me want to pick it up. I think for the most part, the reason why people shoot Fujifilm is because the way it feels in your hands. Just like I was saying then, the way it looks on my desk, it looks so nice, and it feels even nicer to shoot. With the optical viewfinder, it just gives you a completely different way of shooting. For example, even if you shoot a DSLR, it still doesn't feel the same as an SLR film camera. But with the X-Pro 3, looking through that optical viewfinder, it feels like a film rangefinder, and it's just such a nice feeling, and it's just so nice to shoot with. The button dials are probably my favourite feature at the moment, since it is so easy to just put in your shutter speed, your aperture and your ISO without even having the camera on. And I think that is one of the main reasons why Fujifilm is having sort of a comeback, and it's because it feels nostalgic, it feels fun to use. I actually got into a debate with someone in the comment section of one of my videos a few weeks ago, where they were basically saying how, Fujifilm was terrible, it's shit, they hate it, they don't want it to be a thing, and they were laughing at me for even having a camera because they just like to use their Sony or their Canon because it gets better results. And while yes, it gets better results, it doesn't feel the same. Like, I don't think they've ever used a Fujifilm camera, because when you use one, you will realise, oh, there's something different about this. Another reason why I think Fujifilm may actually be replacing film photography is because of the film simulations. You can get some very accurate film-like photos using the film simulations, especially if you do custom ones. I'll be using the film simulations pretty much every time I shoot, apart from here and there when I use RAW, but then I don't even like the photo. I just think it's a bit shit. There's something about the film simulations, just like film, where it just gives you this warmth and this nostalgic feeling to them, even though it's a digital file that's just pretty much been edited before you know, get it onto a computer. It's just been edited in camera, but there's something special about it. I also heard something about the sensor, and that is the X-Trans sensor, and apparently it gives you T grain, which is like more realistic grain / noise to what film would give you, rather than, for instance, I don't actually know what the sensor's called. Is it CMOS sensor that's in the Canon 80D and all the other mirrorless cameras, or even DSLRs for that matter? Another reason why Fujifilm might replace film is the GFX lineup. While yes, it isn't true medium format, I think it's 44 by 33, like the sensor size, instead of, you know, some of like the Hasselblad cameras, which are, I think, true medium format. They're cheaper, they're smaller, and they get pretty much the same results. I in fact have used the Fujifilm GFX 50S2, I think, and the Fujifilm GFX 100S, and they are absolutely amazing. I have warmed up to the 50S since I last made a video about the 100S saying I don't like the 50S, but I was just getting used to the camera since it felt quite slow and a bit weird for my liking, but I do quite like it now. While the sensor size is only slightly bigger and they do look quite similar, once you use certain lenses like the Mythicon 65mm 1.4, then it completely transforms the image into a medium format looking photo. Although Fujifilm has these amazing features and it does seem like they are going to replace film at some point, I don't think it's going to happen just yet. The film still has this feeling that you just can't get from digital. I think it's the fact that it's a physical negative, and there's the whole process of loading the film into the camera, developing it, scanning it, and then seeing your results. I think that's the part that Fujifilm can never replace. But the look of the film and the shooting experience, other than loading it into the camera and developing it and all that, I think Fujifilm is very close to replacing that. This video is going to be very controversial to everyone who watches it, but it is just my opinion, and you might have a different opinion. If so, put it in the comments down below, and we'll discuss things. And let me know what you think about Fujifilm, and are they going to replace film at any point, really? I don't think they're going to do it for the next few years, but maybe 5 to 10 years, I reckon Fujifilm would have replaced film, mainly due to the increase in prices of film.
I'm just going to hop in here and say I feel like replace is a bit strong of a word. I think compete would be better, as I think that Fujifilm is going to sort of take some of the film shooters, since it's going to get so expensive, and Fujifilm are going to replicate that experience quite well. That is if they do continue to go down the analog style camera line, as it's a great alternative to shooting film, and I feel like as time goes on and film prices get more expensive, a lot of people are going to be looking for alternatives to shooting film, and I feel like Fujifilm will be the closest one to that.
But I also feel like Fujifilm might end up making crazy advances into getting that exact film look, and maybe the shooting experience down to a T. But anyway, that is the end of this video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.